It is midnight, so I'm going to record something for you guys about air-to-air missiles in War Thunder. These are the IR missiles in War Thunder. I haven't included them all, so if I missed something that you want to know about, tell me, hit me up in the comments down below or on my Discord, and I will answer you about it. The list of air-to-air missiles in this video is going to be from worst to best based on my opinion. You can disagree in the comments down below, but let's cue up the Skyrim music because I wanna chill. We begin by the R3S, a rear aspect 10G missile from the, USSR. This missile is not that effective in taking down targets. Its 10G overload, the seeker head is absolutely horrendous. However, for straight line targets or if you want to make somebody lose a little bit of energy, it works like a charm. Another thing that you can do with this missile is basically to, make your targets stall, come back on them, and basically finish them off. As you can see in the video, it doesn't do that good unless it's from far range or unsuspecting targets. We got the AIM-9B from the USA, and this is basically the R3S but for USA. This missile is a little bit better in the sense that it tracks just a hint better. Working on your enemy's top down or at a low energy state will make this missile work like a charm. This missile also works from a 2-kilometer range, but you need an unsuspecting target that doesn't see it coming. The AIM-9E is the rear aspect 10G missile. It's basically an AIM-9B but with a bigger circle on the outside, a bigger bullish side, and that allows you basically to lead your missile and make it intercept the target a little bit better. These missiles work fantastically well at a longer range. I don't know why, that's my experience with them, and you can see it in the clip right now. However, it's still an AIM-9B, so it will miss. Like if you're trying to shoot a target that is extremely close, it will not work, it will not pull, it simply does not do that. So there you go. We have the AIM-9D from the USA tech tree and its rear aspect and 18Gs. This missile works fantastically well, pulls really good, a really long range missile. This missile burns for a really long time, however the seeker head on it isn't that accurate, so keep that in mind. It doesn't have a bigger bore sight, so you have to kind of, keep the target in your circle. And yeah, that's it. The upgrade from this missile is going to be the AIM-9G, and it's also from the USA. It's an AIM-9. This missile gets a massive bore sight, really good for taking down targets. A little bit better tracking, but here's the thing. It can be dodged really easily by flares. If you have any flares, all the missiles that I mentioned right now will be dodged immediately. Like, one flare is sufficient. Maybe not with the AIM-9G, but the upgraded version of that with the better seeker head is going to be the AIM-9H, and currently sits on the F-14. Wow, man, this missile, let me tell you, it burns. Like, it burns for a really long time. Even though that it's 18G overload, it pulls, especially when you launch it at a really long range. It kills. It's fantastic. A little bit harder to dodge with flares, however it works. You can see the burn time right there with the trail of the missile, and now it goes poof and just continues on tracking the target. Pretty fantastic missile. Going back to USSR and the R13M1 rear aspect missile, a 20G missile that is not used by a lot of people, and that's because of the R60, but we'll get into that. This missile is highly resistant to flares for what it is. It's really good for long range shots, but it's a 20G missile, so it's not going to pull immediately in those close quarter engagements, and the R60 does that, and we're going to see it. This missile is fantastic, man. Let me tell you, a lot of people don't give it its proper credit, but let me tell you, this missile is the thing that's going to grind for you. Now for Great Britain, we have the SRAM, a rear aspect 20G missile that is hooked on crack. This missile has one limitation, and that's why it's at the bottom of the list. It doesn't have the range. If you can see, it only has a 1-kilometer range. If you launch it before that, it will detonate mid-air. I don't know why it doesn't collide to its target, but once you're in the range, this missile does not forgive you. This missile will kill you unless you have flares. So that's that. Moving back again to the Soviets, and they have the R-60, the infamous R-60 missile that has 30G overload. This missile is fantastic for close range kind of engagements. It's really good, lightweight, does the job perfectly well. Only problem is it has terrible tracking when there is a heat source. Flares can easily defeat this missile, so keep that in mind, but overall, a pretty decent missile. For USA, we have the AIM-9J, a rear aspect 20G missile. You can also find this on the Swedish deck tree, and it's called the RB-24J. It's a 20G missile, like I said, and it is fantastic, really resistant to flares compared to the R-60 and works wonders. Really lightweight too. You want to use it at a close range engagement, because if you use it at a longer range engagement, it's not going to burn long enough to catch your target. As you can see in the clip right here, it just glides in the air trying to go for its target, but then it doesn't have any thrust, so keep that in mind. Coming next is the Chinese PL-5B, a rear aspect 30G missile. Insanely lightweight, a lot of thrust, extremely quick. This missile is a killer. If you don't pay attention, man, this missile is going to kill you really quick. It's also really resistant to flares, so keep that in mind, but just pay attention. If you see a Chinese plane behind you, just prepare them flares, because you're about to die. Up next, we have the Magicone from La France, a rear aspect 30G missile that is insanely good. Extremely resistant to flares, you can launch it off of the bore sight. It's fantastic, kills anything that it can approach or get into stuff. It's like, seriously guys, if you thought that the BL-5B is really good, the Magicone is another league on its own, and yeah, you see it in the footage. Up next, we have the R-60M from the Soviets, and this is a 30G missile. However, it's all aspect. Now, this missile is insanely good in taking down unsuspecting enemies from the front. Just lob it in there, wait for them, they die. It still has the same flare issues, not resistant to flares as the regular R-60, but extremely good overall. It can kill targets insanely fast. Plus, it pulls like a crazy son of a bitch. I don't know how to explain it. Next up, we have the AIM-9L, an all-aspect missile from the US of A. 30G missile, exceptionally well, burns for a really long time. And if you couple it with a platform like the Harrier right here, I mean, look at that. A lot of thrust, you can catch your enemies really quick, and it's going to deal with a lot of threats instantaneously. This missile is fantastic, burns for a really long time, catches unsuspecting enemies like they do not expect it at all. Just look at that, easy quick kill. Don't matter, man, like look at that burn time. Burn time is also fantastically well. It's like an AIM-9H but all aspect, but the AIM-9H just burns for a really longer time. The missile is exceptionally well. For France, we have the Magic 2, and this is the upgrade from the Magic 1, an all aspect air-to-air missile that will shit on your day, believe me. Just launch it at the enemy, forget about them. Really highly resistant to flares, and it's extremely good. Sometimes they just go for the flares, but they ignore them. They go back on target, especially if you couple it with a radar. Extremely maneuverable for what it is, and extremely potent and lethal. This is like tier. This is like god tier. But what beats it is the Russian, the Soviet R-24T, and all aspect 24Gs, and don't be fooled by the 24Gs. This massive dildo of death is the ghost of Chernobyl. It just comes up on behind you like that, and you're dead. You don't even know what hit you. You can even launch it at a really long range. Just look at this in the clip. It's insane what it does, and it's all aspect. It's really good, and it's just, everybody hates it. If you ever play top tier, you know for a fact that you will hate this missile. Just look at that thing go. Massive dildo of doom. Just go into that F4C. But with that said, I hope that you enjoyed the video, guys. Please tell me what you think in the comments down below, and yeah, share your thoughts, opinions, and stuff in there. So guys, see you on the next one.